Welcome back, everyone. Very pleased to bring you this API ecosystems track where we look at different ways that you can assemble new business propositions by utilizing APIs and partnering with other firms. So to start off our track, I'd like to welcome Debbie Watkins. She's the co-founder and CEO at Lucy. And Debbie, I'm really pleased that we're able to bring you on, because I think that it's great to have a social mission, but it's also great to be a profitable business. And by being a profitable business, you can continue your social mission. But I guess the particular reason why I wanted to bring you here to API Days is because you've actually been able to construct this value proposition for your customers, not by building everything yourself, but by using pieces. So very keen to hear how you've achieved that.
Thanks so much, John. And thank you very much. And nice to be here. So let's just get started and I'll give you some background. As John was mentioning, I'm Debbie Watkins and I'm the CEO of Lucy. Lucy is a neobank based in Singapore. And I'm going to be sharing with you today some insights, not just really about what we're doing to change the game for women in financial inclusion, but actually also why the game needs to be changed in the first place and what can happen when we change it. So we'll start with a simple fact here. I think this speaks for itself, but banks generally are one size fits all. Essentially, their attitude to offering you a product is, this is what we've got, take it or leave it. And generally you take it because there's nothing else. So what does that actually really mean in the real world? Well, this is generally the result. It's actually not unusual for people to borrow from loan sharks to pay their bank loans. And they do this because they don't want to get blacklisted. And so basically what ends up happening is that people are paying two lots of interest, which is completely crazy. This also applies to savings, for example. So we think about, why do people save money in jars? Essentially because putting money aside in different places for different purposes helps people save towards specific goals. But the bank really makes it super difficult to open multiple accounts and charges fees if you don't maintain a minimum balance. And so really the one size fits none represents a huge missed opportunity, both for business, but also, as you mentioned, John, really for society and having a positive social impact as well. And this is really the main point. Just opening a bank won't convince or enable people to change their behavior. What we actually need to do is to make sure that the services that we're offering are more accessible, affordable, and relevant. And so when we decided to start Lucy, we started by looking at really who was not being served well by banks, and then really understanding those people and what they really needed. And Lucy is focusing on female entrepreneurs. So why are we really doing that? Well, essentially because entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of any economy. Everywhere around the world, at all socioeconomic levels, micro and small enterprises are really a key driver of economic growth. And female entrepreneurs have been shown to generate higher revenues, create more jobs, and use their profits more wisely. Therefore, helping women entrepreneurs to succeed really has a greater impact all round. I think this quote from Melinda Gates really sums it up. Empowering and enabling women to start and grow their own businesses really makes sense for everyone. So what does that actually really mean in practice? It's actually a very simple equation. For those of you who remember algebra from school anyway, the first fact here, women spend 90% of their income on their families, more than 2 times the average. In addition to that, for every dollar of funding that women entrepreneurs receive, they generate 78 cents, more than 2 times the average again. And this is really what this looks like in real money. By empowering and enabling women to generate these results that I just mentioned, the potential for impact on the global economy could be huge. But it's actually not really happening, and that's what we recognized. Just a few key facts here to highlight how big the gap is between what the potential is and what's actually happening, and to look at really what the size of the market is here and what the opportunity is for us as Lucy. So the first fact is that small business registrations have grown by 40% in the past year on year, since COVID. And this has really been across the board in all environments, Europe, the US, Asia, pretty much everywhere. Huge number of people who are actually starting their small businesses. The number of female micro entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia alone, 45 million. And yet, 70% of women-owned SMEs have inadequate or no access to financial services. And so kind of one size fits all is really one size fits none, as I was saying, but also one size fits none is typically all that most women really get offered, if they get offered anything at all. Now, I've worked in more than 35 countries over the past 22 years, focused on financial inclusion, from everywhere from South Africa to Pakistan to Vietnam. And really what I've seen is often that mainstream financial institutions don't understand or cater to the real needs of women entrepreneurs. And we see this as being really a wasted opportunity for the world as a whole. And so we at Lucy decided to do something about this. Lucy has been designed from the ground up to provide entrepreneurial women everywhere with the tools they need to take control of their financial future, realize their potential to grow and thrive. From supporting foreign domestic workers to save to start their first business back home, to helping homepreneurs get started after a career break, small and micro business owners to effectively run and grow their businesses, and enabling successful women to in turn invest in other women. We recognized that entrepreneurship is stressful, scary, and lonely, especially if you're a woman. Success really depends for entrepreneurs on many different factors. And most entrepreneurs don't really have convenient and affordable access to everything that they need. Just to give you an example here, if you're a large business and you're looking to break into a new market or to design or offer a new product, what do you do normally? You'd hire McKinsey, for example. What do micro enterprises do? They Google it. If you're wanting to implement new accounting software and you don't know how it works, you're a larger business, you get the ERP vendor in to train you on how to use this. Micro businesses probably Google it or make it up as they go along. And so really what's lacking for a lot of micro entrepreneurs is the skills as well as access to the relevant financial services. So it very much is a kind of holistic issue for people who are wanting to start out growing their business or starting a business from scratch. How can they be strategic and thoughtful about what they do, and feel generally supported in some way when they actually don't have a real support network above and beyond friends and family. And so we kind of looked at this from a very much holistic position and said, well, based upon what we know from all the various places that we've worked in, what is it that women entrepreneurs really need to help them to start and grow their businesses and to thrive? And so we looked at the whole suite of what was needed. And we also then looked at how could we deliver these in a way that was seamless and easy to use, and kind of delightful, I guess, is, for want of a better word, that people actually did feel that someone was there with them, that had their backs and wanted them to be successful. And so we kind of looked at this from a range of different aspects, which you can see here, of plugging in the various components of business support, tailored financial services, and community. And those are the kind of three areas that we really saw that were all important at the same time, but also to make these things affordable, accessible, and relevant. And so we've taken a lot of time to actually be very customer-centric in what we're doing. And so our approach at Lucy has really been to start with the customer. We looked at their pains and aspirations. We understood what it was that was giving the most issue with what they had available or not available right now. And we worked from there. What we've ended up with as a result of this is very much not that kind of one size fits all solution. And therefore, because we're not one size fits all, we're, of course, also not one size fits none that I talked about. We've really focused very much on looking at pain points and how can we be creative in addressing these pain points, but at the same time to make things easy to use, because that, of course, is the balancing act, is having things that are really addressing people's needs, but also making them intuitive, because everything that we're doing is being delivered through an app. And so we started in Singapore. We launched officially at the beginning of October. We will be expanding to Southeast Asia and then beyond. What we're doing now is leveraging our extensive experience in customer-centric product design and smart use of technology to really very much make it personal. Of course, each market that we move into will be different from a demographic perspective, from a geographic perspective, from a language perspective, from a culture perspective. But what we've actually done with our platform design and the way in which we've implemented our technology is to enable this to be really very configurable and adaptable without needing everything to be built again from scratch. In Singapore, what we've done is leveraged an e-money license together with a range of other features that we've built on top of this that enables us to be very sort of tailored and specific in the kind of products and services that we're offering. And we have designed our platform going forwards to enable us to be very, very configurable and adaptable to individual environments. And our model, essentially, what this enables us to do is to have different partnerships with different financial institutions at the back end. So our approach really is not to have our own licenses in different environments, but rather to be a kind of value-added partner to a range of different financial institutions in different locations. And essentially, the reason for this is that we have recognized through the work that we've done that a large percentage of mainstream financial institutions don't really understand or want to serve female micro enterprises. They're either viewed as being too risky for various reasons, or too expensive to serve individually. And as I mentioned as well, that the importance here is to really understand the market. And so actually moving from many mainstream financial institutions to move into a segment that they haven't previously served actually would take a vast amount of work. Firstly, understanding the customer. Secondly, then to really determine what their pain points and aspirations are, to design or tweak products to address their particular needs. And then, of course, to implement platforms that serve those customers. And so our approach is that we are a front-end tech provider, but more than that, a relationship manager for financial institutions so that we are able to design and deliver the products that are actually required for those particular segments in each country that we move into. And what this enables us to do really is to provide this kind of consistent and easy to use user interface that we've already built from the ground up to be things like multilingual, multi-currency, multi-entity, and then to be very, very heavily API driven on the back end, which enables us then to kind of almost plug and play with various partners on a country by country or indeed product by product basis, while providing a seamless interface to the customer. And so this kind of is a win-win really for the financial institutions that we partner with, because it enables us to then serve the customers that they don't understand or don't want to serve. But at the same time, we're bringing them the benefit of a consolidated balance sheet without the expense or overhead or stress of understanding and serving new clients. And so really what this enables us to do is to serve a very wide range of different segments using our experience and the platform that we have developed and our regional and global experience in working in different countries. This enables us then to enable the women to really reach their full potential that they're actually not achieving right now, and empowering women everywhere to really reach their full potential and grow, thrive, and shine. Thank you very much indeed. I'm aware that I've kept well within my time here, so hopefully this gives us some more opportunity to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Great, thanks very much, Debbie. I have several questions, and I think that as I've seen what you've been doing, you have a really strong focus on a particular customer and their experience, and that is your forte. That is the thing that you focus on. But there are a number of other things that while you built that experience, the systems to meet that experience expectation, you haven't built all the things that you need. You've picked up pieces. So you're a neobank. You don't have a financial services license, but you have partnered with a firm that does, and you access their service so you can offer accounts, cards to your customers. And I think what you've added on top of that base functionality is the ability to transfer between between employer and staff, or to keep track of any loans that may take place. So can you talk a little bit about what are the things in your technology stack that you absolutely had to build, and what are the things that you figured, hey, I can get that from somewhere else?
Yeah, so essentially we're using at the back end is an e-wallet company. And so everything like the kind of KYC that was required, for example, that's all from the back end. We haven't built that because that's the kind of regulatory requirement of the company that we're working with at the back end. So that was sort of a mandatory thing anyway that had to go through their KYC process. From the wallet perspective, things like pay now and fast in and out was stuff that they already had available. So again, we don't need to build all of this. Moving money between wallets, in and out of wallets, again, something that was already available. So that was just a case of us calling their APIs. What we've actually done on top of that, though, is offered a range of different products, such as earned wage access, right? And how earned wage access is calculated. Named savings pockets, where you can create multiple savings pockets, give a name to them, put a goal to them, see how you're progressing towards your goal. At the underneath that is basically just a wallet. The whole concept of the name, the goal, the progress is all something that we've built. And so it's a mixture of kind of leveraging what is basically quite standard checking account type wallet functionality with the ins and outs side of things, and adding useful functionality on top of that, which is specific to us. And of course, the app, which is entirely from our perspective as well. So it's a really good combination of the two things. As I say, it enables us to be very innovative in the products that we're offering. So things like the way that we've structured our own earned wage access, the way that the savings pocket side of things works, which is all very much driven by customer pain points and what they need, but leveraging the kind of underlying accounts, moving money in and out, nationally and internationally as well, which is something that we purely leverage the back end relationship.
So in a sense, you've taken vanilla capabilities. I wouldn't exactly call them quite vanilla because some of them are quite complex, but they are designed for the one size fits all. And
yes,
you've tailored on top an experience that is fit for purpose for your particular customer segment.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
your choice of partner, because you started in Singapore, but your vision is to move into other places. So the choices of when you selected partners to work with and to provide certain functionality, what has sort of been the criteria that you've set for that?
Well, it obviously, with all these things, needs to be a win-win situation. And so from the point of view of the partners that we work with, it needs to be something that's adding value to them as well as adding value to us, of course. That's how things work well and long-term for everybody. And so, I do know from the places that I've worked kind of all over the region and beyond really as well, was that, a lot of larger banks really don't want to serve this market. Right? It's kind of, it's so completely new and alien, and perceived as being risky, although from a lending perspective, statistically, women are a much, much lower credit risk globally overall. But just kind of understanding new markets and messaging and product tailoring and so forth is something that, for the vast percentage of mainstream financial institutions, they just don't want to go there. Right. But they absolutely would like the consolidated deposits. Right. They absolutely would like the consolidated loan book, as long as they're not having to assess or manage the loan side of things individually. And so that's kind of how we're working with our back-end partnerships, is To whom are we also bringing value as well as they're bringing value to us? And I think that's when it kind of, you really get that synergy and it works.
So so you focused on that particular customer segment and what their needs are. You have a lower cost to serve than what a large bank would have if they tried to focus on that market, and you managed to assemble that. And I guess this is what a lot of fintechs um, bring to large financial institutions, is that they are able to help to consolidate those small pockets of demand and serve them well, um, but still give the volume that the financial institution needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us. All the best for Lucy and
Thank
all
you.
your customers, of course. Appreciate sharing those insights with us.
Great. All right. Thanks so much, John.